Lucario can see your aura from half a mile away. Your emotions, intentions, lies, harmful thoughts, and fear are all visible to it. The creature encyclopedia states the problem plainly. No foe can remain invisible to this aura jackal-like creature, because aura cannot be hidden. It is one of the few pocket creatures capable of perceiving aura at all, and the only one whose entire identity is built around reading it. This creates an obvious problem. A being that senses everyone's true feelings at all times cannot be lied to in the normal way relationships quietly depend on. Ordinary trust usually has a buffer of doubt, assumption, and interpretation, but the aura jackal-like creature gets none of that. It knows immediately and continuously exactly what nearby people are feeling about it, which makes the ancient betrayal story much harder to treat as simple drama. The story begins in the 8th monster-catching anime film, before this aura jackal-like creature existed as a normal species players could catch in the main games. The medieval aura knight serving the queen of a palace kingdom was the creature's partner, not merely its owner in the transactional monster training sense. The knight later made clear that the creature had never been his servant, but his partner and friend. The aura jackal-like creature treated the knight's guidance like a devoted student trusting a teacher whose judgment was beyond question. Then a war broke out, with 2 armies converging on the kingdom and turning the whole palace crisis into something much larger than a normal monster battle. The knight decided the only way to stop the war required a sacrifice at the colossal life tree tied to the origin of all pocket creature life. The knight knew that if the aura jackal-like creature came with him, it would either try to stop him or insist on sharing the sacrifice. So the knight sealed the creature inside his staff, left it behind, and went alone. He never came back, the war ended, the knight became a heroic legend, and everyone else got a clean public story. The aura jackal-like creature remained sealed inside the staff for the next 1,000 years, with no explanation and no information about what had happened. All it carried was the final moment it had perceived, its partner shutting it away and walking out the door without telling it why. For an aura-sensitive being, that final moment would have been unmistakable: grief, certainty, and the deliberate choice to hide the truth. A creature built to detect concealed feelings spent 1,000 years trapped with the one feeling it could not resolve. The unresolved question was simple and brutal. Why had the person it trusted completely chosen, in that exact moment, to shut it out? When the modern trainer and his friends free the aura jackal-like creature in the present, it attacks within seconds because the trainer's aura resembles the lost knight's. The creature spends much of the story hostile, withdrawn, and openly contemptuous of humans. It accuses the modern trainer of being the kind of person who would abandon his electric mouse-like companion the moment it became inconvenient. The modern trainer reacts with genuine fury, even trying to punch a creature that could dismantle him without effort. Later analysis of the film describes the aura jackal-like creature's behavior in almost clinical terms: rage, isolation, and a redemption arc that resembles abandonment trauma. That is rare for this franchise, because monster-trainer relationships are usually framed as simple, uncomplicated loyalty. This film refuses that easy version, and treats the bond as something that can break, rot, and come back wrong. The resolution comes near the end, at the core of the colossal life tree. There, the aura jackal-like creature finds a crystallized record of the knight's final moments, and finally learns the truth. The knight had not betrayed anyone. He had sacrificed himself alone so the creature would not have to share the same fate. The seal was not rejection, but the only protection the knight could imagine in the moment. The aura jackal-like creature immediately understands what that means, and what it now means for itself. The life tree is dying, and needs an enormous transfer of aura energy, more than any one being can survive channeling. Having just learned what the knight's sacrifice cost, the creature chooses to do the same thing for the modern trainer. It physically pushes the modern trainer out of the aura transfer, takes the full output itself, and begins dissolving into light. Its final thought is that the knight is waiting for it, while the modern trainer is left carrying the creature's aura as memory. This is one of the rare times the franchise lets a main companion creature die on screen with no immediate reversal. The franchise later treated the film's events as part of the aura lore that the main games built afterward. So the species was introduced to players already carrying a founding story about a being that spent 1,000 years grieving a misunderstood abandonment. The truth arrived only at the exact moment when repeating the same sacrifice became relevant, and the aura jackal-like creature repeated it willingly, immediately, and for the same reason the knight had used. The thing that broke its trust in the first place became the thing it chose to become. Then the games took this species and made its evolution depend on friendship during the day. The small aura pup-like creature can evolve only through a strong bond, and only when that bond is visible in daylight. The required friendship threshold is high, but the ordinary starting trust value is the same as countless common early root creatures. A creature whose entire premise is reading the emotional truth of every relationship still begins each new bond with default trust paperwork. Official creature entries describe the species as selective. Only trainers with justice in their hearts can truly earn its trust. A well-trained, aura jackal-like creature can identify the feelings of beings from over half a mile away. The species is officially perceptive and careful about commitment, yet its only fully narrated member committed completely to someone who hid the truth at the worst possible moment. Its empowered battle form intensifies the whole design physically. Darker markings, longer aura sensors, changed eyes, and aura output becoming impossible to ignore. Its empowered battle form makes the fur darker with new markings caused by increased aura output, while the sensors lengthen and the eyes change. Later battle lore pushes the form even further, turning the aura jackal-like creature into one of the fastest and most offensively extreme fighting creatures in the franchise. The species began as a story about a being whose aura was hidden from it by the one person it could always read. Now its battle form makes aura more visible, more violent, and less containable than ever. That physical design is the exact opposite of the staff. Nothing sealed away, nothing quiet, nothing hidden. A modern trainer later raises a small aura pup-like creature into the aura jackal-like creature over the course of his journey. That evolved companion eventually becomes part of the team used to win the biggest in-universe championship victory. In the climactic battle, the aura jackal-like creature uses its empowered form against a gigantic fighting opponent, turning the species from tragic movie figure into a victory centerpiece. But none of that changes the founding story underneath the species. The being that can sense everything chose, when it mattered most, to hide the truth from someone it loved for that person's own protection. Then it disappeared, repeating the same emotional structure that had broken its own trust 1,000 years earlier. Aura cannot be hidden, except once by the person the aura jackal-like creature trusted most. And 1,000 years later, aura was hidden again by the aura jackal-like creature itself. There is one more detail worth sitting with. The small aura pup-like creature evolves through daytime friendship, but the bigger constraint is that it will not evolve at night. No matter how high the bond becomes after dark, the small aura pup-like creature stays exactly where it is. The bond has to be visible, out in the open, under conditions where everything can be seen clearly. A small aura pup-like creature raised entirely after dark, no matter how loyal, remains a small aura pup-like creature. The species that becomes defined by perceiving hidden truth cannot itself come into being under cover of darkness. Its transformation has to happen where there is nothing to hide. The medieval aura knight hid something once, in the dark, and that single hidden truth took 1,000 years and another life to undo. In hindsight, the daylight evolution requirement feels like a small structural safeguard built around the exact failure that started the whole tragedy. Daylight only, nothing concealed. As if the games quietly decided that what happened to the aura jackal-like creature the first time should never be allowed to happen again.